This is massive. The Knicks are changing their trade plans. All offseason long, New York has been looking to trade for another center. They even tried to trade Mitchell Robinson during the early parts of the offseason to get another center on this roster. But unfortunately, they couldn't get a deal done. But now, according to reports, New York is shifting their search for a backup center. We're going to break down all of these latest reports and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Major update on the Knicks trade plans. You can look at all of the videos we covered during the offseason. Most of them is about the Knicks targeting a center or being linked to a different center. And there's a reason for that. It's because the Knicks were involved in so many trade discussions this offseason trying to move some of their players to get another center on this team. And there's one main reason for that. We lost Isaiah Hartenstein. He was supposed to be our starting center this season. But because he left and went to OKC, we had to scramble and make something work. And it wasn't until a couple of days before training camp where the Knicks made a major move, where we got Karl-Anthony Towns on this team. But that still doesn't satisfy the backup center position on this roster. Because if you take a look, after Towns, you have Preseason Achiuwa and you have Jericho Sims. And then, to an extent, you have rookie Ariel Hukporti. But after watching what I saw in the preseason, how NBA-ready Ariel Hukporti looks, how dominant Preseason Achiuwa looked, and even at times on the rebounding side, how good Jericho Sims looked, I'm not too concerned about the backup center position at this point in time. And it seems like the Knicks feel the exact same way. Let's take a look at the following reports from Ian Begley about the Knicks and their current trade plans. According to him, I would think the Knicks take a look at how their centers function here over the first couple of weeks of the season. Take a look at how Cat looks defensively at center and look at who you have. Look at Jericho Sims. Look at Preseason Achiuwa. Look at what you have behind Towns and see how those centers function. Maybe even Ariel Hukporti. If things go well, maybe then the Knicks wait until Mitchell Robinson comes back because they feel like they can hold things down until he returns safely next year. But if not, if they're struggling, I can see them pulling the trigger on a trade to get an experienced center in here because this team is in win now mode. You can't afford to have stretches where you're shorthanded and losing games. I can't believe I'm saying this, but after watching the preseason, I have to agree with this direction the Knicks are going in. Given what we've seen from Ariel Hukporti, from Preseason Achiuwa, from Jericho Sims, what I would rather do is I would rather put this roster out there and see what they can do for the first 10 to 15 games of the season. If they look good, if they look ready. If they don't, to Ian Begley's point, they can pivot, shift their plans again, and then look at the trade market and look to make a major move. But if everything works out, if it looks good, if all our centers are performing well and they're playing their role the right way, then maybe the Knicks continue on this course and they don't do anything. This is a major shift, a major change in the Knicks' plans because all offseason long, they have been linked to a number of centers. They have been linked to a lot of trade discussions, and clearly they have been looking to upgrade at the center position. Even after making the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, they were still looking to move Mitchell Robinson to get another center on this team. Presumably a backup center on this roster for when Karl-Anthony Towns needs to go to the bench. And we didn't really have anybody, at least in my mind, to come in for Towns. Now, Ariel Hukporti, we saw his dominance, the way he can play pick and roll, the way he can defend, rebound, and block shots. I love what I saw out of preseason. It gave me a lot more confidence in our backup bigs, and now I can understand why the Knicks may be shifting their trade focus and wait to see what they need to get at the trade deadline. Maybe it's not a center anymore. Maybe it's a wing. Maybe it's a backup power forward. We're going to have to wait and see. But as of right now, it's clear. The Knicks have one goal in mind, watching how this roster looks for the first 10 to 15 games of the season, and then potentially at that point in time, making a decision for the future on what they're going to do. Ian Begley also speaks about another obstacle the Knicks might have in trying to move Mitchell Robinson in a trade. According to him, It's hard to deal Mitchell Robinson because teams aren't sure about his health. They don't know, just like the Knicks don't know, exactly when he'll be back and what he'll look like. So tricky to trade him at this point in time, even though he's on a very good contract. You're going to have to keep an eye on this situation and see how the Knicks center position plays out during the early parts of this season. If the group is functioning well and it's clear that they're competent on both sides of the ball, I can see the Knicks standing pat and continuing with the group that they have. But if there's struggles on the defensive side of the ball, specifically off the bench, if there are either scoring issues or defensive issues or backup center issues, then yeah, I assume they would be aggressive in the trade market. In seeing what's out there, you know they don't have that many assets to trade. They have a ton of second-round picks to move. You have Robinson's contract, but other than that, you don't really have that many other trade pieces to include in any other deal that you want to pull off. Mitchell Robinson is supposed to be out until January 2025, and that's only an estimate. He could miss even more time than that. That's why the Knicks have been trying to trade him all offseason long. And even though right now they're going to stand pat and see what their roster can do, I think it's only a matter of time before the Knicks trade Robinson. But as you just heard, the biggest problem with trading Robinson, the biggest obstacle, is his trade value. The fact is, he doesn't have any trade value. It's on the floor. Number one, you don't know when he's going to return. Number two, when he does return, you don't know how he's going to look. And number three, you don't know how long he's going to be consistently playing before he gets injured again. All of those factors lead to his value being on the ground, the floor. No way to trade him unless you attach a lot of things. Probably things the Knicks do not want to attach in order to move Mitchell Robinson. One of those assets being Deuce McBride. Deuce right now, especially after all of the injuries, after all of the trades, he is very significant. He is a very important piece for this Knicks team off the bench. He's going to give you scoring. He's going to give you playmaking. And you can see it at times during the preseason. The offense was running through Deuce. And I think certain times he's going to be asked to play make. Certain times, he's not going to be asked to do that. He's going to be asked to play off ball, but he can do either. He's elevated his game. In my opinion, and I did a video about this a couple of days ago, if Josh Hart wants to move to the bench, the easiest way to do that is to put Deuce in the starting unit and put Josh Hart on the bench. If you do that, you get the defense, the three-point shooting, and honestly, look at the growth of Deuce McBride. If any player on the bench deserves this, it's Deuce. For all of those reasons, I would love for the Knicks to go in that direction. But moving back to the Knicks trade plans, if the Knicks are going to make a move for a center or even a power forward, we're not going to know that until maybe December. And the reason for that is we're going to have to see where the Knicks are, if they're injured, what their roster looks like, and what their record is at that point in time. If they're a very good team, I don't know if they make a move. And if they do make a move, maybe it's a very small move, something we're not even thinking about. Maybe it's a move on the buyout market, something like that. Maybe they waive a player because they signed somebody earlier during the season and they look to sign another player. Maybe that player's Landry Shamet. Maybe it's another veteran. Maybe it's somebody else we're not thinking about. With Leon Rose in this Knicks front office, I've always come to expect the unexpected. They always surprise me. Even when I think I know what they're doing and I think I know the move coming, at some point in time, they shift the script. They change everything. And then it's another move that nobody's expecting. And I like that, honestly. I like being surprised. And this Knicks front office, I trust them because they're competent. They're the first competent Knicks front office that I've seen in my entire lifetime. And I want these good times to continue to roll. I trust what they're going to do, and I trust their plans. If they were going to trade Robinson before, I was going to be happy with that. If they want to wait and see now, I'm okay with that too, because I know when the time is right, they're going to make the trade we all need them to make. And maybe this could be a move by Leon Rose in the Knicks front office. Maybe they're putting this out there, making it seem that he's not available for a trade anymore. And maybe that puts pressure on other teams that wanted him and wanted to trade for him. So I'm not putting anything away from Leon Rose and what he's going to do. For me, leverage comes in many forms. And this move right here could be another form of leverage for Leon Rose. We have one thing in mind: championship. We need to get it done in our window. And that window starts against Boston this Tuesday. And spoiler alert, We are beating Boston. Collect your rings, have your smiles, celebrate, do a lap around the arena, whatever you want. But when it's go time, the Knicks are destroying you. Defending champions or not. You know it, and I know it. The Knicks are the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics. And on Tuesday, we prove exactly why. But what about you guys? What do you think about these latest trade reports indicating now they're shifting their plans and now they want to wait to see what this Knicks roster can do and how they look like for the first couple of games of the regular season? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.